let me tell you, this is a fanboy sitting right beside his first childhood crush.
Oh my God.
And that's all of us from the
That has
90s.
to be me because you are your child yourself.
She must be in my team here.
It came that way, and now suddenly with this post the treatment, there's this brain fog, and I can't remember it, and that part intimidated me. How am I going to remember the lines?
Yes.
I have a newfound respect for the word newsroom and for the people who run a newsroom.
Yes.
Because that is a whole sort of a job.
The anxiety of it all.
Oh my God. Hi, I'm Sonali Bendre,
Hi, I'm Shriya Pilgaonkar.
and you're watching us on Koimoi.
And don't forget to watch our show The Broken News on Z5 on the 10th of June.
Hello and welcome to Koimoi. This is Shubham Kulkarni, and today in conversation with me are the powerhouses from the Broken News. First of all, before I guise with all the objectivity and the zenness of mine, let me tell you, this is a fanboy sitting right beside his first childhood crush.
Oh my God.
And that's all of us from the
That has to be
90s.
me because you are your child yourself.
She must be in my team here. She must be in my team here.
This is everyone's
Yes.
crush, my crush also.
Exactly.
True.
So now I'm being objective here. Coming to the Broken News, you guys play journalists, and we know there are shades to every character you take, right?
You know, now that we have been in the news.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm editor-in-chief.
Yes. Editor-in-chief, and I'm a news producer, but also sometimes a news reporter,
Yeah.
and sometimes an investigative journalist, and sometimes just like rebellious Radha.
Yeah.
Isn't that the real
And
Shreya doing many
sometimes
things?
just a pain in the neck.
But these characters and these shades, okay, and you have to portray them. Now, how, as actors, do you make sure that you don't end up making a caricature of, say, a real life person? Because it happens a lot of times. Both of you.
Because we're not following a real life person. I think what we do is we're following a thought process.
Yes.
And there are different types of people. So there's a mixture of various things. It's the way you think. And we've said this while the trailer was launching also. That's something I said on stage. I think what we're showing is the human drama that happens behind the camera in a newsroom. And it was interesting for me as a viewer also to understand what a newsroom is like. And I have a newfound respect for the word newsroom and for the people who run a newsroom.
Yes.
Because that is a whole sort of a job.
The
in itself.
anxiety of it all.
Oh my God. So
Absolutely.
Even just to understand what actually happens in a newsroom, I'm surprised that editors don't have a shorter lifespan because the anxiety, the stress
Yes.
levels, it's like how did you not get a heart attack? So, and there's just so much happening in there, and they're human beings.
Yes.
Where there's human beings, there's a volatile situation, anxiety levels, there's going to be a lot of drama.
Yes.
And, it's a team that is working, so there's a lot of warmth, there is relationships, there is banter, there is laughter. So, I think it's so complete as a story when you go behind the camera and see what is happening, when you see the human aspect
Yes.
of news.
That's so amazing for you.
I think the biggest takeaway was to understand that these are people, and that even if on the surface you can judge them for what they're doing, there could be several pressures, there could be several things behind the scenes that they're going through in order to tell that particular story that you don't know about. Also today the onus lies on the person receiving that information, not just somebody who is giving that information out. But what the Broken News does really well is gives you a glimpse into different kinds of people in this world, whether it's a Dipankar or Amina and a Radha, and even within the same sort of world of Avaz Bharti, we're in the same team, but you see, and she's my boss, but there are so many disagreements that we have on the show, and it's a beautiful relationship of these two strong women. Somewhere they, I aspire to be her and she sees herself in me, but we're still learning from each other. And I feel like a lot of people may identify these things with their bosses as well. So that's very well written. And credit goes to the writing also, because many a times when you're playing a profession, it can tend to be a caricaturish way. You as an actor have to create that inner world with the writers and the director, and to make sure that it's not a very typical way of conveying that.
Yes.
You know, and I think that is something on a personal level I find myself doing that, because if I feel like मैं देख चुकी हूँ या ये enough complex नहीं है, you know, फिर उसमें मजा भी नहीं है.
That's so true.
Yeah.
But it's also a team effort, right?
Always.
Yes.
Always a team.
It is.
Yeah.
Collaborative.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It is. But that brings me to you. Sonali, you make your OTT debut. You come back to the screen after a very long time. Come back is the word people are using, but you never went anywhere. You were here.
Yeah, but fiction. I'm doing
But
fiction.
yeah, let's call
Yeah.
it fiction. Coming in front of the camera after a very long time to play a character.
Right.
Does it intimidate you? Does it feel home? Tell me what's happening.
Before I actually started the shooting, I wouldn't say intimidated, but I was nervous. And nervous is, you are nervous when you're excited, you're nervous when you're scared, you're nervous when you're starting something different. So all that was part of my nervousness. I mean, when you don't know how it is going to be, you're going to be nervous. And I
Yes.
think being nervous is good, because it keeps you on your toes and you do
Yes.
better. So I think it was good nervousness, but I was coming back after a long time. I had been through so much.
Yes.
And I didn't know if I would, the way I dealt with the characters I played, and would I be able to do the same?
Yes.
For example, it was learning the lines or remembering the lines, because when I do reality television, I'm being myself. I'm
Yes.
saying what I feel like saying, but here I'm playing a character. So I have the responsibility of saying certain things, and
Yes.
because they have to be said in a certain way, because it's not Sonali. So will I remember those lines? Now the thing is that when I used to do fiction, for me it was a matter of reading it once or maximum twice, and I remembered the lines.
Oh wow.
So you see, it came that way, and now suddenly with this post the treatment, there's this brain fog, and I can't remember it, and that part intimidated me. That how am I going to remember the lines?
Yes.
Till you kind of understand that how did you deal with your illness? How did you deal with the COVID situation? Your brain adapted.
Yes.
And I said, if I could adapt to those things, I can adapt here. And it was just a matter of finding a new normal, a new
Yes.
pattern, and not doing it the way I used to do it before, but doing it in a different way. And that was so amazing, because that helped me find, instead of falling into old patterns, I'm hoping that I'm forming newer patterns. And that is so exciting, because it's like learning something new.
It's back to school.
Yes, and it's like doing something new, and hence it's also exciting.
There was a childlike enthusiasm actually that I felt came from her, and I wondered, I said, oh my God, she is so experienced, and yet she is comfortable enough to say, oh my God, I'm nervous, will I remember the line, will I forget the line? I'm saying just to be that vulnerable to even say
Actually.
it. But luckily, I think even you felt better just putting it out there, because the nervousness was literally one day.
Okay.
It went after that, because
comes with experience, right?
absolutely, it just went after that completely. But for her even to say that, oh my God, I was so nervous, it's my first day today, and it made me think that it's so great. It makes everyone around comfortable to know that everyone is being honest about their feelings, or whatever it is.
Yes.
So it was a good set to be on, actually.
It definitely was.
Yeah.